Ready? Hey, and welcome back. So quick little thing. We are gonna change our name from Xanax to Breakfast to Panic to Punchline just for all sorts of different reasons, but we think that I think that it'll probably suit us better eventually. I think a lot of our stories start off kind of like things that we're working on, things that have to do with anxiety and panic, but again, we're always going to find something to laugh about. So, anyway, so you may see Xanax for breakfast for this episode, but after that, we're going to be called Panic to Punchline. Anyways, I am Hope.
And I'm Dre.
And welcome back. So, actually, I just want to start off this conversation with Dre's journey to get here today on the studio. Dre, what happened today?
I feel bad. I don't even know if I want to tell people. What if someone is hurt?
Okay, hypothetically happening today.
Okay. So today I was driving on 183. I don't know that road. Everybody else I'm sure knows it.
It's a highway.
It's a highway, and I'm on the left-hand lane. And the shoulder, it's not like a big shoulder. It's a regular shoulder.
It's a regular shoulder.
And there was like an abandoned car on it, and the guy in front of me was in a big, like jacked up, long truck, and he decides to pull over to this car at an angle, out of nowhere. So his tail. This is the worst story ever. I can't even tell.
It's going well.
I feel like it's gonna be super boring. So
it's not. It was funny when you told me earlier.
Go to something else.
We don't even want to do it. We're done with it.
I'm done
Anyways,
with
Dre was almost in an accident because here in Texas, a lot of our men like to drive very large trucks. Sometimes I feel like that's to hide something else.
Oh,
I don't know. Anyways, one of these
middleman syndrome.
I didn't say it. I didn't say
little what?
You just said little man syndrome. We all know what that is. Anyways, yeah, he like cut her off to go and like I guess tow this car and just like completely cut her off and like was sticking in her lane. She almost hit him. Lots of cars behind. Unfortunately, did not make it.
They did not escape the wreckage.
Did not escape the wreckage, and it was just these are the things that happen to Dre when she has somewhere to be.
This is the thing. Okay. I don't honk at people.
And there we are.
I honked. The point of the story is I don't honk at people, and I honked like 45 times.
Right. And that's going to lead into our segue of this segment I know me personally, I've been like a people pleaser like my whole life. And which is also tied into being a perfectionist as well. So Dre doesn't honk because she doesn't want to hurt people's feelings.
I don't want them to be mad at me.
And that is the premise of this segment. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think when people say like you're a people pleaser, like what does that mean? Like when you hear people say, "Oh, you're a people pleaser."
For me or in like reality?
Like for you.
For me, if I feel like somebody's mad at me, I have to do 1,000 things to make sure that they're not, even once they already say that they're not.
Like, for example, give me an example.
An example?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if I don't know. God.
She has to do 1,000 things to make sure that you're really, really not mad at her.
Yeah. Like,
right?
I mean, I'm like, are you sure you're not mad at me?
Yeah. And that I think that comes with a lot of things. So I think people with panic anxiety, and I think it also affects other people too that don't have that, but I think it's just heightened again. When you have panic and anxiety, the last thing that you want is to think that someone is mad at you for some reason. And even if it's like you didn't even do anything, I think in your mind,
if their tone is off,
yeah.
Like they could be mad at work. Like Scott does that a lot. Like if he's upset at work and he's like, "Hey babe," and I'm like,
"What did I do?
Are you breaking up with me?" And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, that hey was like, "So I hate you." You know?
I read that as I hate you.
Yes. I asked him, "Why do you hate me?" And he's like, how do I hate you? I don't.
And there it is.
And he's always like, every time, like, I don't even have to say things anymore. I don't have to ask him the questions. Like, are you sure? Okay, that's a big one. Are you sure? Do you promise?
Do you promise?
Promise? Do you promise? Like, I'm like, do you love me? And he's like, oh my God, I love you so much. Do you promise? He's like, so now he says, I love you. I promise. And I'm sure.
And I'm sure.
And you're the best. Like, and then I'm like, it doesn't even mean anything to me anymore.
And that is a whole other, like,
Yeah.
box
But
of
I'm like,
things.
I have to be 1000%
Yeah.
sure you're not mad at me. And I have passed that on to my child.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like that too. Like, I think Donna's the same way because, like, if she'll come in and, like, we're building a house right now, like, physically building it. I mean, you can go with your jokes if you want, the 2 of us, but, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I painted a barn door yesterday, and I thought that that was pretty, butch of me. I don't know. Uh, that's about the extent that I get. Like, I don't use power tools. Why would I need to?
Does
Um,
Donna?
no. Well, I mean, she helps her dad. Like her dad and her brothers, they have a huge, like, wood shop with all the things. And I just keep my hands and fingers to myself because I know that I will cut one off.
Yeah.
That's just all there is to that.
I'm not
Um,
allowed to touch the
I'm
things in the
I haven't
garage.
tried, and I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed either. But, like, so I painted a barn door, so, like, I was pretty stoked about that. Like, I caulked something that sounded awful.
Me
Like,
too.
the caulk. No. I mean, I used some caulk, but apparently I didn't do that right either, so I don't know why I'm allowed. But anyways, we're building, and on top of me, like, going to classes and we're having all these other things, and so, like, when we, like, come together or something and, like, she walks in and she's like I'm like, "Hey," and she's just like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "What did I do?"
Yeah. What did I do?
And I know that she's tired, you know what I mean? Like, I know that's what it is, but it's just like, "But why did you say it like that?
And
Like,
then,
couldn't you come
but
back with
what
why didn't you use the same word I used?"
the thing with that is the people that aren't like that,
Yeah,
which like Donna or Scott or
yeah,
whatever, like, that's like offensive to them. Like
yeah.
whenever he's like, I can't have a moment. You get all kinds of moments all the time.
Oh,
There's moments all day. You're like, babe, I'm having a day, and you snap my head off. And he's like, but I have one moment, and now I hate you. I've cheated on you. I didn't
yeah,
want to come home. Like all of these
yeah,
things because I just had a bad day at work. He's so
yeah.
people pleasers. Even though we're trying to please you, we probably annoy the shit out of
Oh,
you.
I can promise it because blessed, I mean, we've been together, like, 18 years, and so, she's had a lot of practice. Uh but, yeah, I mean, I think as someone with anxiety, like, we have to know that I guess we feel like, are we doing everything right in our power?
hmm
And, like, is our anxiety causing us to do things to make us think that you hate us or we've done something
Yeah,
wrong? Because then, like, if and it's even just like that or in a greeting or, like, if you haven't answered my text message in, like, 5 minutes, which is
yeah.
also we're working on that.
And I'm such a pleaser, like, that's the first thing I said. I missed one of Hope's texts yesterday,
I was fine
and I'm
with it.
like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I was at work and I meant to text you." I'm just like
Yeah.
she's like, "Okay."
It's fine. Which is weird because, like, I think that it's also weird because, like, we're best friends, but, like, when she doesn't answer me back, I'm like, "Oh, I know she's busy." Because if she wasn't, we'd be on the phone for, like, 3 hours laughing at something
Yeah.
really stupid, and that's fine, but, like, when it comes with, I guess, our significant others or, like, someone that, like, we're supposed to be, like, working with and, like, we're supposed to be getting things done, and when they don't answer us back, I think our first thing is, like, we go back to ourselves and, like, "What did
They're
I do?"
mad at him they're
They're
mad at
mad at
me.
me. "What did I do wrong? I did
Did I
something
say
wrong."
something weird in the last text? Do you reread your
Do you
messages?
reread I do
Oh
reread
my
it.
god! I reread my messages so many times where I'm like, "That doesn't sound weird. Maybe it could sound
Maybe
weird."
it
Maybe
could've.
they thought, like I
And that's
said
also another thing that I think that as our society that is really, like, screwing up communication and relationships is, like, text messages because I wish that they had, like,
a tone,
tones, a tone or,
like
like, a
fonts.
different font that, like, could say, "I'm being sarcastic here," or, like, "I'm not mad at you. I'm not yelling at you. The exclamation is because I'm happy."
Like,
But
I think emojis help with that a little bit,
I think so
but
too.
you can even, like, misinterpret emojis,
Mhm.
because, like, this one, that guy,
Yeah.
that one, right? I use it all the time, and I feel like that's an anxiety face, like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
make that all the time, that's my go-to, and, like, some people think that I'm, like, smiling.
You
I'm not
I'm not smiling
smiling.
at you. Mine's usually the upside down, like, head. Like, 'cause I'm just like, "Ah,
I don't know.
there we are."
I like
I
this
don't know.
one.
Yeah, I'm like that too. So, yeah, I think that's, a big thing, really, is that I feel like when I am not I think comes back to, like, am I not communicating correctly? Am I not meeting their needs?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, that I feel like that's a reflection on myself, but really it's not. I mean, that's just one of the things we have to accept that people, are the way that they are, and they're gonna respond differently than we are, and we just have to understand that and like that, but it doesn't make it easier, I think. as a people pleaser or a perfectionist, because I have been labeled that like literally my whole life, where I feel like I have to do certain things. They have to be done the right way. They have to be the best that they can be. Um,
I need acknowledgement. People
yeah.
pleasers need a ton of like reassurance and
Reassurance is a
and
big word.
acknowledgement
Yeah.
of it
Yeah.
because I'm like, if I go home and I do everything for him, like I cook his dinner, I make everything perfect for him because I'm like, I gotta have it done by 5:30 when he gets home, so he gets to come home to this, and he just walks in
Yeah.
and doesn't say anything. I'm like,
What did I do?
what did I miss?
Yes.
Like, why isn't this good? What did I? And I'm like, tell me the floor looks good. And he's like, the floor looks great, babe. Walk off. You fucking hate the floor. I don't do anything. I'm lazy. Like that's how I go from like one extreme to the next. I'm like, I'm lazy. I know. Just say it. Just say it. Just
I
say it.
honestly have those. I think I have those conversations with Anna too, and she would probably say that like I'll do whatever, and I'm like, you didn't notice, and I'm like, what? Because it's not your way. Is it
Yeah.
not your way? Okay, so I'm not good at this. Okay, and then
Oh, yeah. Or he'll say, um, this is where this goes. No. Like, don't. I have
yeah,
a
you have
very particular
you do.
individual.
You do have a particular individual.
Actually really good. He's actually calmed down. I'm sure he probably, like, pulls his hair out or something when he gets in his car or something.
Maybe. I know. I sometimes I think like when she goes to work, she's just like, okay.
I know. I'm like, "You love going to work now, don't you?"
It may be that way. I don't know. I don't know, but I do think that's a big thing. I don't know that there's necessarily a way to like I don't think there's a cure for it. I mean, I think that that's more of a, like a lot of self-reflection on our end, be like, okay, that's not really they said that wasn't the problem. Like they're like, no, that's not it.
Yes.
But I think it's us having to accept
That's not the problem.
that that's not the problem. And that
Oh my
it's
gosh.
I know it's hard. You know, I'm in school,
Are
so
you doing this on purpose? Because like, I had this fight yesterday.
oh,
Like, "I've said this. Why aren't you believing it? I've
right?
already told you I'm not mad at that. I already told you that this," and
Mhm.
I'm like, "That's not how I feel." And he's like,
Mhm.
"I don't fucking care.
Mhm.
I've said it. Like, I don't know how to make you feel that way." And I'm,
Mhm. And there you are.
So I have to accept that he's not.
I mean, I'm not telling you that you
I'd be
have
mad,
to.
I
I
guess.
just feel I think that at the end of the day, it's just it's our issue that we deal with because I think it goes back to like an insecurity thing.
Mhm.
And I think that that's what we kind of latch onto because if things aren't done the right way and we don't feel like we are doing things the way that they should be or the way that I think that are accepted, it's a reflection of us. And so when we are constantly, and I think that's with anything. I mean, relationships probably the biggest one. Um, I do think that it is also a learned behavior. It probably came from something, like you said, like Casey probably is doing
Yeah.
things like that now too. But
But
it's
I don't know where I got it because neither one of my parents are.
I mean, I don't know that it necessarily has to be like hereditary, but I think it came from somewhere of some sort. Or it was something that you learned in a relationship or something that you were in and that you're like, okay, maybe if I do it this way, this way, this way, then this will happen.
But you
So,
know how draining it is. I know that people that are listening, like, it is very draining only trying to please people and not yourself.
right.
Because you
And
forget about yourself a lot, and then that's whenever you get super down
mhm,
and people are like, "What's the matter?" And you're like, "I don't know," know, because you really don't
you
know
don't know.
because it's just like, nothing is for me. Like, I broke down the other day and was crying because I was like, "Everybody needs something from me 24 hours a day,"
Yeah.
and that's work or whatever, so I was like, I don't have any more right now. Like, I just wanna, like, lay down and take a nap or
Right.
something. So I think that being a people pleaser is actually super hard. It's funny. I
Yeah.
have so many funny, like, lines that I say constantly. I really mean them. They are funny when we make fun of them, but I really am like, "Do you promise
Yeah.
that you love me?"
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you say yes, and then you're like, you sure?" So then I have, like, 18 backup questions to, like but I mean
I've
that,
got a
but I'm
list.
just saying it's, like, draining.
It is draining. I agree, and I think, I mean, this could be a whole other episode of like finally investing in yourself and doing self awareness and self care because I didn't until
Mhm.
about a year ago, and I was just like, this is it. Like, I can't be everything to everyone else and neglect myself because like that's just no way to live. And I think that I was in a very dark place because I was continuing to make sure everybody else around me was good.
Right.
Everything was everyone was good, and like all my attention went everywhere else. But I also like purposely kept myself busy, like
Mhm.
so that I didn't have to think about neglecting myself.
Right.
Um, and I've done a lot of hard work on myself this past year, like noticing that, and I've gotten a lot better at saying no,
Mhm.
which people pleasers do not say no
No.
at all.
Mm-mm.
No, we don't say no.
We say, "I'll figure it out."
Yeah, yeah. Don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. Like, it'll get done. Like, that has always been my thing. Don't worry. I'll do it. It'll get done. Um, I've gotten better at saying no. And I've gotten really good at putting myself first. And there's a lot of guilt that comes with that.
Mhm.
There's a ton of guilt that comes with that because as a people pleaser and a perfectionist, it's like you go back to, oh my gosh, now I'm letting someone down, or they're gonna hate me, or they're gonna,
Oh my god.
whatever
I
they
feel
don't.
like everybody.
Right, Trey.
I know, it's
Anyways.
super weird. Lovable.
You are lovable. I mean, I wouldn't have you if you weren't, but I do. I've done a lot of work, and I think for our listeners out there, it is not fun to work on yourself. It is not fun to self-reflect and realize how you've abandoned who you needed to be for yourself. Um, it sucks to look at and say, "My God, like for these many years, I didn't even know who I was." And so like that's been a really big journey for me. Um, as like I want to say an ex people pleaser or an ex perfectionist.
Oh,
Because
you're already to the X?
I'm not to the ex yet. I'll say future.
Okay.
But I'm definitely on my way
Mhm.
because I mean I have put myself first. Obviously I'm in school to be a therapist. That's gonna be a great thing. I already got my LLC. We talked about that.
Ah,
I know.
LSCs.
Right? Boss bitch already. But I just, I put myself first. Like I work out. I mean, I've lost like 20 pounds. I do a lot of reading. We're doing this podcast, which is one of my favorite things because I get to spend time with
Which,
you.
by the way,
Uh-oh.
when we started this, that
What?
was the goal.
What?
Was remember we were both like, because I'm super busy right now.
Yeah.
But I was like, we have to do this because it takes time for yourself.
For ourselves. And this is one of our things. And I've had to have people in my life understand that like this podcast is going to be something because this is our time to be with each other. And we have no script. This is just us. And I love it. I mean, even though we're like pulled by different people and we're still
Mhm.
trying to please all these different things, we still find time for each other. So I guess the moral of it is that people pleasing and being a perfectionist is a lot of people have it. I think it is heightened with someone with anxiety because when you feel that way and you're like, oh my God, I did something wrong, when your anxiety kicks in and then your symptoms kick in and then all of a sudden everything is wrong. And a simple like, hey, instead of hi, I love you, that hey turns into like a mirage of issues that you
Yeah,
just
where
snowball on.
it's like I always call whenever like I'm having a day, right?
Right. That's what I call
I
them.
say, I was like, "Hey, babe, I'm in a rabbit hole," and
Mhm.
he's like, but like that's what it is
Mhm.
because one little thing could have been 2 days ago that I'm still thinking about because you kind of, as people pleasers, you let them go.
Yes.
Like you don't say you hurt my feelings automatically. You don't say any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like you, but it rabbit holes into like 900 different
Right.
things, and so then I finally have to like say something, and so that's one tool that maybe somebody can use of
Yeah.
speaking or like communicating with their partner with
Mhm.
is the word rabbit hole because it obviously means I don't honestly think that you're doing these things or that you
Yeah.
meant this, but this is
Yeah.
where I've ended up.
Yes.
Please
Here,
help me get out of it.
I really like that's how you put it. I will text Donna because she's out doing stuff, and I will just say, "Hey, it's kind of a dark space right now," and she'll
Mhm.
come in, and that's what I'll
Yeah.
say. And we talk it out, and I think that's one of the biggest things too for people like us that are like neurodivergent and have anxiety and panic, and everyone else that's listening. Talking about it because that was always
Yeah.
a big thing too. Because when you talk about
It's embarrassing.
it's embarrassing that, but it's also like, hey, I have to tell you like that when I don't get this reaction from you or something like that, I take it personal and I feel like you feel this way. And you tell me that you don't, but like that's how I'm doing it. And so it is kind of embarrassing to admit like this is those things, but I do feel like it's important because I would never tell anybody anything for a really long
Me
time.
neither.
And I think that that's why I had so many issues that I did. But now I'm like, or I'll text you. I'm like, this is what happened,
I know.
and like help me
I
walk me
know.
through
I'm
this.
like, get a Starbucks,
Yeah,
take 5 minutes,
go to
let's talk it
Target. It'll
out.
be
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, so talking about it is like huge. Communicating, finding someone, and even if you don't feel like you're comfortable with someone, I mean, you can get a therapist that, there's online therapy too that will sit there and listen to you, because I promise when you get it off your chest and you come to a realization that, okay, that really wasn't me, you feel so much better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I did I had multiple relationships that I would walk away from because I wouldn't want them to see that side of me.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to see the anxious, the paranoid, the
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Once you start getting super close to people, you can't hide those things.
Right.
You can hide them on dates or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But not in everyday situations or relationships every day.
Yeah.
And so I'd break up with them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I need a new person that doesn't know that side of me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And we have a whole episode I think we could do on relationships.
Mhm.
With anxiety, and I think we'll probably hop on that later. But anyways, so if you are a people pleaser, or a perfectionist, or both like me, because you're just gifted.
Ooh, yeah, tell us your stories because mine are awesome.
Yeah, we have absolutely, write them in. You can DM us on, I guess we have a Facebook page now too. So we have a Facebook page, we have a YouTube page, we have an Instagram page, we have a TikTok apparently. So we have all the things. So find us on that. And then so that would be, I guess, what we're gonna have today. If you, again, want to reach out to us, do it on any of those things. I am Hope.
And I'm Dre.
And we are now Panic to Punchline. And we'll see you soon.